Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's July City of Dayton City Council meeting. It's 7:02. I apologize for my tardiness. It's not something I like to do, but it happens when you hit a light or you stop. Someone stopped me in the street and want to talk about their trees on their lot. Those things happen. So I do appreciate your time with us. Call to order, Ms. Klein, please.
Member Horton,
Present.
Member Neary,
Here.
Member Neiman,
Here.
Member Kelly,
Here.
Member Judd,
Here.
Member Levins,
Here.
City Attorney Edmondson,
Here.
City Administrator Fawcett,
Here.
Mayor Baker.
Here. Now, if we could all please raise for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Next up on the agenda will be the mayor's report. Don't have much to report this month. We have a few things to go over during the agenda, but we'll get to those. So I won't waste your time with the mayor's report. Do we have a motion for approval of minutes? Ms. Klein?
So moved.
Mr. Neary? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Member Horton. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. So first up would be tonight's presentations. Mr. Weber, we had a really, really great month with you in South Bank. So I want to talk about that. So bring it up, man.
Queuing a presentation slide here momentarily. Thank you all for having me. You should have packets in front of you to give you a brief overview. I like to give an annual update on Riverfront Commons in general and what has transpired here recently and what is on the horizon. Perfect. So we can go on to the next slide. So just a few handful of slides here, keeping things high level. As this project progresses and more questions come about what exactly is Riverfront Commons, more often it's for people, and I'm sure you all can attest to this, I see the logo and I see the name, not exactly sure what that means, but there's groundbreakings and there's ribbon cuttings related to this. So I wanted to help set the stage here. So if you all are asked questions, or you might be at a local restaurant or bar and you can kind of share some exciting projects going on in the city. So I'd like to start off with a couple of these questions. So what exactly is Riverfront Commons? So Riverfront Commons is Northern Kentucky's Riverfront District. If you were to visualize a district, this is an area that spans 8 cities on the riverside of Route 8. That's probably the easiest way to visualize it. So if you were to think of the Ohio River, Route 8, across all of the cities, this is a district piece. And the reason being that we're taking a more district approach because of the public spaces, private developments, whether you have hotels, office space and the like through there, it is a unique place that all of these communities along the river have in common, thus Riverfront Commons. So the secret's out on why we chose the name 20 some odd years ago. Next one is who is involved. I know there's a lot of questions that span of, who's doing this whole Riverfront Commons thing, because there are several projects in multiple cities. So the way I like to explain it is, Riverfront Commons is managed by South Bank Partners when you think of a district development. And we are, as you all know, a nonprofit regional economic development group and place management organization, but we do so in partnership with each respective city. So that goes back to the several different interlocal agreements that we have with all of the partnering cities to say, yes, this is public property, but we're working with a nonprofit to secure the funds to make sure we can enhance and maintain this place in our community and across all of these cities. And then the third one here, there can be a lot of confusion on Riverfront Commons, Front Porch to the South, the Riverwalk. There's a lot of things that sound great, but how do we really differentiate them? So I like to just put a brief little note up here so you all know when you're talking about Riverfront Commons, that's the district. If you think of the nice, clever tagline of the Front Porch to the South, or you see it on a sign or up the digital kiosk, that's really the tagline to help promote this place. You'll see it passively here locally, but that's part of our marketing campaign across the state and as we work with Meeting KY to help promote this as a good tourism play in the region. And the last one is the Riverwalk. So the 12-foot wide pathway along the river is a Riverwalk. So we've referenced the Riverwalk quite a bit, and you'll see some of the signage along through there to that effect. So just like to set the stage there. If there are any questions, makes sense, pretty good. Alrighty, so next slide, sir. Alrighty, so when we talk about regional projects, this Riverfront Commons District, as you start to think about how much area this actually covers, this is a quick snapshot when you think of just by the numbers, what exactly does this cover? Much more than a Riverwalk. When it originally started 20 years ago, it was just a matter we need a Riverwalk to cover all of these cities. But as it continued to grow and we strengthen these partnerships, you really start to evaluate all of the public spaces that are in this district, and that's what we work on with each of the respective cities. Obviously, you have developers that are building X product in this district, and they're going to develop their own portfolio and what this development offers to the community. But we're working with each of the cities on the public spaces. So that's what you'll see up here, whether that be leveraging connections to business districts, historic neighborhoods, or the like on some of these other amenities. So a couple of these pictures just to show the magnitude of this project. The same Riverwalk that we cut the ribbon on, hard to believe it's been a month ago now, is the same Riverwalk that we cut the ribbon on in Ludlow back in June. Same Riverwalk that's under the Roebling Bridge at Covington Plaza. So when you start to see all of these segmented pieces come together, that's what really positions this project to be pretty unique, not only for the state, but the longest Riverwalk in this part of the U.S. So pretty impressive project. So next slide, please. So you've heard enough about kind of the regional aspect, what is the project. When we really outline what is this in the city of Dayton. So bring it home about, what's going on here in the city. A couple of the facts that are up here, and again, it's on the paper in front of you. For the Riverwalk, upon its full completion, we've had phase 1, phase 2, and 3. We have 2 additional phases left. Phase 4 would continue along Marion Wills Highway to the city limits, and phase 5 would connect Dayton to Bellevue through the signature site at the end of O'Fallon. Then the Riverwalk's complete, and we're estimating about just shy of 3 miles throughout the city. And some of the other elements on the projects here you may have questions about, or you might be well aware of at this point, so I'm not going to belabor any of these, but if you have questions, happy to answer those. And lastly, hot off the press, at all of our groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings, we've had some drone photography to really capture what this space looks like. So on your right-hand side, you'll be able to find these on South Bank and Riverfront Commons social media to actually see all of the drone footage, some before and after of the Riverwalk there. So next slide. Signage. So you may have noticed this was one of the early things that we have been working on with each of the cities, was to have signage even before sections of the Riverwalk have been complete. And as we progress through highlighting the history of each of the communities, and of course regulatory signage. When we did host the ribbon cutting here last month, I believe shortly thereafter, an ordinance was passed about rules and regulations about how to operate on the Riverwalk. So we worked with our sign fabricator and have the rules and regulations and a QR code that links to your ordinance, so people understand what exactly this entails to keep the Riverwalk safe, and so people understand how best to use this. We will have an additional rule and regulation for the levee trail. That way, as people utilize it, if they do have questions, should I be driving a four-wheeler going 40 miles an hour on the Riverwalk or the levee trail? No. These type of questions that are burning in the minds of many people, apparently. So, with that being said, we have the next slide up. And these are just some renderings we have been using to help categorize what this project looks like for that full 20 miles, but also what it looks like in the community. So I'm sure everyone's familiar with phase 1 from O'Fallon to approximately McKinney Street there. And you'll notice in that far left-hand side of the slide, we are working on some design plans right now of what type of public gathering space this would be. Can we utilize a signature art installation to really create something unique along the Riverwalk here? And next slide. Phase 2 takes a broader look, not just to the Riverwalk, but as you look at Gilliland Park in the background, the connection of Berry Street to 6th Avenue, and spanning across future development on Manhattan Boulevard. Next slide. So phase 3 here, I believe most of the folks in this room were at the ribbon cutting at the very end of Manhattan on the River Apartments. And you'll notice on the right-hand side of the screen, leveraging existing assets that are on the riverbank is a future kayak launch to connect not only the Riverwalk between the cities, but each of the communities to the actual river itself. A couple months ago, we worked with Ohio Riverway to cut a ribbon on the nation's latest national water trail, and that's the Ohio River. So that was a pretty exciting opportunity, and then working through funding to provide these kayak launches. And the next slide here is just a quick reminder. He did quite a neat shot there to show a full 180 view of Dayton along the riverfront, the River Walk, and seeing Cincinnati and Mount Adams were to the right. So short and sweet presentation. You've heard most of this before on an annual basis, but to keep you all up to speed on what we've been working on and what's to come. Any questions, comments,
Sure.
concerns?
Excellent work. This is, the whole presentation has been amazing. But I've had a lot of questions about the trees.
Yes.
Could you comment on the trees, the removal, and what your plans are for the future of the trees?
Absolutely. So you'll notice the picture is actually a pretty good depiction here. So when phase one was constructed some odd years ago, that whole bank also had different trees. I think it's fair to say that those trees were not intentionally planted to be where they were, but as the Ohio River rises, falls, it brings up plenty of vegetation and seeds to plant trees over the years, most of which are typically invasive there. Occasionally, you'll get a sycamore, but mostly it's cottonwoods and trees of that variety. In order for this project to move forward and actually develop a riverwalk where there was no infrastructure, no road, quite frankly, there was a slight table to work off of, but your grading to actually develop this riverwalk needed to actually remove the trees. Now, it's an unfortunate reality. We'd all love to have shade and we'd love to have trees through there. But by developing this, we can now open up the area and evaluate where should we plant which kind of tree and what do trees look like here 40, 50 years from now that provide shade. To provide this, if you will, to picture a grassy lawn that you could go out and walk or you have a picnic on right by the Riverwalk, as opposed to just blocking the views that you'd like to have and the opportunities to engage with the river. So an unfortunate reality, but not the end of the world. I think I can speak on behalf of all of the cities throughout the Riverwalk and throughout Riverfront Commons. Nobody's against trees. We just want the right type of tree in the right place, and we want to plant that with 40, 50 years in mind at a place where there's never been a Riverwalk before. So hopefully that helps answer your question.
Very much so. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Yeah, he took my trees question, but I got another one too.
All right.
What are the plans to connect the other side of Dayton? We talked about Bellevue. Is there going to be a connection point to Fort Thomas and eventually Silver Grove, I believe, was
Yeah.
the long distance plan?
Absolutely. So I don't know the exact mile markers off the top of my head right now, but at the intersection of 4th and Mary Ingalls, the plan would be to continue eastbound, actually all the way to Pendry Park, so just slightly past Silver Grove. But yes, the exact location of the Riverwalk as it progresses that way has not been identified. That was part of the RAISE grant project, and I'm unfortunate that it's been almost 2 or 3 years now when I came and spoke about this project. But when all of the cities in South Bank worked to get this grant from the DOT, that was the section where the city's local match would actually fund the design work as you head further east. And we hope to kick off the public engagement side this fall for that piece of the project. Any map you'll see, whether it's print or online, looks at about 10,000 foot high, because we don't want to get anybody up in arms of where's it going? Is it on my property? Is it here or there? Because all of the public engagement is helped to inform where's the best path for this to move forward, and how do we work with public property or private property to make sure that we're mitigating any potential consequences and not trying to dictate where it goes, but to really get that feedback. And so far, we've got some good engagement on the east side of Dayton so far through there. So excited to continue that.
Great, thanks.
My pleasure. The other one? Once.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Weber?
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate
Thank you.
Next on our docket would be the performance services on the design build for the process underway for the new Public Works building in the new City Hall.
While they're coming up here, let me do a little
Jerry, how
background.
you doing?
Jerry, let me do a little background for council before you speak.
Sure.
So, as you all know, city council members, the last couple 3 years. We do a strategic planning session every spring about what we want in the future, and the two top priorities have been a new city hall and a new public works building. So the public works building we have now is in very bad shape, and city hall is not very accommodating for our offices. So based on the direction we got for the strategic planning session from city council, we've embarked on this process to hire a company that does design build. And Jerry, who is a Campbell County resident, native, I think you actually lived in Dayton for a while, is working with them now, and he brought an architect, John Missile, too, who has done some preliminary design work. He'll tell you more about it, but they interviewed staff, and we provided a lot of input about what we would want to see in these buildings. So I just want to give that background so you're aware of why we're here today and why they're here talking to us. So go ahead, Jerry.
Thank you. So thank you, Mayor and Mr. Fawcett and council members for giving us a moment. My name is Jerry Schmitz. I work with Performance Services. My colleague, John Massell, is going to be up in a moment to show you some design concepts, as Mr. Fawcett had pointed out. The city has asked us to engage basically to help turn some ideas and some aspirations into some design concepts and costs, so that you as a body have information from which you guys can make informed, data-driven decisions on a potential site here that we're sitting in right here for the new city building, and for the work that's going to be done on a new public works building as well. John is going to be up here in a moment. He's an architect who's worked with businesses and governments around the world. He's the one who led the process that we did with the city administration and the staff, which was a series of interviews where we're gathering information about the usefulness of the space, the wants and the needs, and all of that gets put into John's toolbox. And these insights are what we use to develop the concepts that you're going to see in the next few minutes. I myself have been working with local governments on and off for 30 years and have done dozens of projects. This is the first time I've been engaged with something that's in the community that I grew up in and that I still kind of call home. So I'm very proud to be here. The next slide just gives you a little bit of information about who we are. I'm not going to spend much time on that. You can see that for yourself. We serve 19 states. We work in K-12 districts and for city and county governments only. And what we do is we do design, build, construction. It's a different method. In the next slide, you'll see that the KRS defines design build basically as a system of contracting under which one entity performs the architecture, the engineering, and the construction management, and they do that under one single contract. And on the next slide, what you're going to find is that it differs because it delivers certain benefits. And those benefits summarized are basically a streamlined construction timeline and process. It mitigates cost overruns, and it mitigates risk with numerous contracts that typically come up underneath the city, and it provides for a single point accountability. And one firm, one contract, there's never any guesswork over who you have to contact and get a hold of whenever there's an issue that has to be resolved. And in a construction project, I'll guarantee you there's going to be plenty. My next slide is just it's hard to read, but basically it just represents the timeline. And what we do in this first phase is exactly what I said, is we come to you with a design concept so that you guys can make a decision on what happens next. And what this process has allowed your city administration and staff to do is work through it efficiently and responsibly and still run the city on a day-to-day basis, because they're not construction experts, and very few in their space are. So just to let you know that we're at the STAR. We're doing the preliminary work. If indeed it's determined that you want to move forward, you'll go to an RFQ or an RFP process. You'll start a design and pre-construction phase, and then you'll go into it. And one of the things that we've communicated to your administration is what that process looks like from their side. So we're here just to give you information. I'm going to turn it over to John. He's the creative mind behind all of this. He's the one that took all of that information, is going to turn it into something that you may find useful. So John Massell is going to come up and direct you through this.
Thank you, Jerry.
Evening, everybody. Nice to be
Evening.
here. Starting to make some friends in the community, which is always great. Next slide. So we looked at actually 3 different projects. We looked at the Public Works project, which has actually been underway from a design standpoint. We looked at it from a constructability standpoint, meaning can we make this more efficient, can we make it more cost effective? And we put our other hat on, which was the constructor's hat, how we're going to build the building. Then we looked at the City Hall and what are the program elements that make up a City Hall, a functioning City Hall. And while we were here and we're meeting in this building, and we heard that you may want to renovate the existing building for the police, kind of came to the conclusion, wouldn't this be a nice spot to have joint operation, police at the City Hall? Where the City Hall would be in that lot, police functions would be here. I had to figure out whether this building was big enough, to function, whether it could operate. So that, the contents of this presentation is some site analysis. We look at the program spaces for everything involved. And what we're involved in right now, as we're talking to you, we have the hardcore construction people looking at a budget estimate that we can assign to the projects. You'll know upfront, this is what we would assign in terms of a budget for all of these projects together. So we're involved in that. Next slide. So the Public Works is designated to be on 3rd Street, place the dilapidated building that you're operating out now. We didn't change any of the internal functions of the building. In fact, we met with the Public Works Director and made sure that those functions that he had already programmed stayed in place. But what we did look at is, can we make this building more efficient from a cost standpoint? And we looked at basically 4 items, which is on the slide up there. We looked at the structural frame of the building. We looked at the roof composition and the exterior cladding. And we looked at the construction for the mezzanine inside the building. And we were able to save some money without changing the function of the building. I think that gave everybody a comfort level. And we're going to hopefully move forward and do that as a really efficient piece of construction that will serve the needs of the Public Works Department of the city. Next slide. Now, moving to the city building and the police, this is an aerial view of where we are right now. The 2 buildings to the upper right is what we're in now, which is a 1-story, 5,500 square foot building and a vacant lot. And we looked at combining those 2 locations to make a overall functioning civic center for the city of Dayton. Next slide. So the one thing I liked about this initially when I first showed up was that when you turn the corner onto 2nd Avenue, you have the opportunity for great civic presence for the city police building. It kind of opens up as you take a left. I'll show you a picture of it. So that corner shot is really, has great opportunity. We can do something with the front of this building into a nice front civic plaza. And we programmed the police functions. And in fact, the chief shared with me some previous studies that were done, and I compared notes on both, make sure that we had a cross-check. And then the lot really provides enough space for a new city building. The important thing about this slide is that there is a public and a secure private function to this kind of a complex. In the southeast corner, or it says civic entrance, you make that left, that has to read as open to the public. It's your new destination. Whereas on the other hand, police functions need to have a secure entrance and kind of, I don't want to use the word back of the house, but it has to be a more secure set of circulation for police and for their functions. And so it was very important to establish that when we looked at these 2 pieces of property. Next. So this is the shot, and you can see there's a great opportunity visually, if we do something on that corner, to open that up as a destination for your new city hall. Next. So this would be a very conceptual plan of how this would work. And everything I'm going to show you over the next few slides is concept only. Is to establish square footages and make sure that we're accounting for all the right spaces as we talk to people in the city and talk to the police chief. The city hall would be on the corner. It would be a new public entrance, public plaza that we would use the existing conditions for, save the trees, create something a little bit more formal, major entrance off the entrance plaza, and then the police would be connected, but it would be a separate operating entity. But there'd be one civic destination where that little red arrow indicates entrance plaza. Next. So the city administration will separate the police and the city in terms of separate concept designs. Next. So you can see that large kind of off-white rectangle, public lobby, ample public lobby. Walk into the lobby, your destination is the deputy clerk, that's where your information center is. And there is a discrete, to the left, entrance to the police department. That can be controlled through secure access. It can be open, it can be controlled. We'll develop all of those security things as we move into the more formal aspects of design. And there'd be a public stair, which would give entrance into the new city hall chamber, which would be on the second floor. That would be that would replace this space as this becomes or handed over to the police. The clerk, code enforcement, conference rooms, and support would be behind that public stair. So all of the city functions, except for the mayor and the city manager, is on the first floor, public access. It would be a secure entrance into those spaces, but the public lobby would be obviously a public lobby. Next slide. The second level, the staircase would come up to a large waiting area and entrance into the council chamber. So this room would be more appropriately designed, better acoustics, AV and all that stuff would be built into the room, and it could be flexible. We could move chairs around so they could be used for other functions than just a dedicated council chamber. And then on that floor would be your mayor, your city manager, an office for future economic development, some conferencing, support spaces. And again, that would be secure. You'd have to be invited into that suite off the waiting. Next slide. There is some thought about taking advantage of the view, having a roof terrace. We're estimating that as an add. Want to do that, have to do that, but the opportunity is there. You're high enough over the mound in the back that you do have to get some river views up on the roof. Possibility to do that. There'll be a cost associated with that. You can decide whether you want to move forward with that or not. Next. Police. I feel really fortunate that when I opened my big mouth and said, wouldn't it be nice to have the police here, that actually the square footage that they required was very close to what exists. I didn't know that initially, but next slide. We did program the police department. This is really too small to see, but essentially about 6,000 square feet of needs. When I went through all of the offices and all the support spaces for a fully functional police department, and in fact, this building is close to 6,000 square feet. So that seemed to have worked out. Next. So there's the police department. We're going to propose to tie in that structure with the city hall. We're going to reclad that building so that it all looks as one civic complex. And you can see if we build a city hall there on the vacant lot, that will be the image. The police department is a more discrete construction to the left, to the west. Next. So this is a conceptual drawing of a fully functional police department. See in the lower right, there's access to the city building. Walk into a small waiting area, clerk, the opportunity for a clerk, and then the entire rest of that building is secured. Only access to that is what access is permitted. The red triangle on the west side, on the far left, would be a new sally port, which would be over there. Police officers could bring their vehicles in. They can do evidence, that blue area is where evidence would be stored, processed. There's also a small booking and holding area. The chief and officers that have private offices would be along the south side of the building, and the squad room would be in the belly of the building, accessible from the sally port, or actually accessible to the front as need arises. And then there is an area for lockers and fitness, decontamination area if something happened while they're out in the field. So all of the processing stuff is to the left, the more public stuff is to the right, and where they live is really in the belly of the building, accessible to either side. And fortunately, the square footage requirements for this is very similar to what's available here. And got a nice height in here, we can run new systems in here, and this is really an open shell and available. And what a great place to invest your money as opposed to the building up the street, which has some built-in problems it really can never solve in terms of accessibility and security. This is a really nice, secure location. Next. So what does it look like? This is just initial concept sketch. That's the entrance at the corner as you turn off 2nd Street. Both buildings would look like one, clad in a new modern material, and would put the focus on the public entrance, council chambers on the second level. Next. And this would be kind of an image of what the lobby would be. Obvious access to the deputy clerk's office, information, and then you have to be processed in to get beyond that from a security standpoint. And then the public stair at the center would take you up to the council chamber. And there'd be access to an elevator as well, but you'd have to get permission to use it so they can control that access. A lot of natural light, obvious public lobby, a whole new image for the city, well within the square footage requirements that we talked to everybody about. Next. So that's the last slide, and this is what we're doing right now, is we're actually establishing a budget for all of the projects. We have a good idea of what the Public Works building is going to cost, but we're looking at renovating the space, and construction of a two-story space over there. We'll have a comprehensive budget for a whole new city administration. That's it. If you have any
That's it?
questions, happy to answer.
Here there are.
That's a great presentation, John. I really appreciate it. We've been talking about this for many, 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 many years. So maybe you do have some questions from council.
I have just a few quick ones.
Sure.
Parking wasn't covered, I think, in your presentation, so would the current parking be sufficient, or
No.
are we going to need to extend that
We're
out?
going to need to extend that out.
Okay,
How far, I don't know, but talking with Jay, there seems to be ample property there. We just need to account for how much do we need.
Okay.
And also, I'd like to look at securing the police parking from the public parking. So there'd be two pieces of that. We probably should be able to, in some part, secure the squad cars or impounded cars from the general public parking. So we're going to need more, yes.
okay, and there's no concerns with putting a parking pad further out? Because I've heard there's like a water line or something?
No, we're
over
fine.
there?
There's a sewer line, but it can go over top of it.
Okay.
I mean, so you just can't dig in, create a foundation. Not a
Yeah.
problem.
Okay. Other question is, I love the glass, the open lighting situation, but there's also baseball fields here. Are there going to be baseball-proof glass we're putting in there?
It'll be shatterproof glass, and then the police station will have some sort of conversations about bullet-resistant glasses. We
Got
do
it.
a lot of that work, and there's different levels of bullet resistance, but we'll get into that tech stuff down the line.
Great, thank you.
So
Yeah,
John,
please.
I'm sorry,
Please.
just talk a little about, we initially thought we would put the city hall here and then keep the police station there, but the problem with that is it has to be renovated, and we have to put our police someplace. And then you came up with the idea, and you got in this space, so you got a lot of unused space here that's not used very well. And the idea to put the police station here would allow us now to either sell that property or rent it out, do something with it, and we don't have to spend a lot of money rehabbing that property. Instead, we put that money into this one. Is that your-
Right. So when we were talking to everybody, and I was in this building for a day, it kept occurring to me, we're really building the city building for not a lot of people. And we need to get more energy into this location. Plus, I'm sure Jay would like to have this entire operation in one location. There's going to be a lot of inefficiencies with separated. Plus, contemporary law enforcement is different than it was when that building was built. And I think this is a better location, and I think the chief would agree this is a better location to operate out of, to get to the different areas in the city that you need to get to, as opposed to having to run down the middle of downtown, especially when there's traffic. So there's a lot of advantages here. The issue is, would it work? By moving this space out so that you have more energy in a new city building, and using this one-story layout as opposed to all of the stairs in the existing building for police operations, is just, to me, seemed to make a whole lot more sense. And when the city personnel moves out of that building, you're gonna have to put some money into it. Is it really worth putting money for the city of Dayton into that old building? Is that really a good place to spend limited resources? And, you know, I raised my hand in my big mouth and said, you know, no, maybe it's better to invest.
And we've had issues with our police department, especially the first floor, or the basement floor, Chief can acknowledge. We have limited evidence issues, and there's water problems, and also, you know, for certification purposes, we're getting close to like not satisfying the needs. We need to keep our department certified. This new space will be state of the art, so we'll be able to, you know, cover that issue. We won't have those issues anymore. Am I right on that, Chief? Yeah.
That made me think of one more question. Are there some pros to doing both the Public Works building and this building together at the same time?
That's a good question, and I'm going to give you a slightly biased answer, and I apologize beforehand. All right? I mean, I spent my entire career working in architecture. Now I work for a firm that does everything. And it was kind of an experiment for me. After 40 years, does this make sense? But if we're going to, or another design builder, it doesn't have to be our firm. It's going to be an RFQ, and there's going to be a selection process. If you have one project manager that is assigned to the city of Dayton, and they're doing all of those projects at one time with those resources, there's obviously efficiency and savings. And working with a firm that not only designs it but constructs it, and you have one contract, so that you don't have this going on. And I've been involved in decades of this, and I'm happy I don't have to do that anymore. Yeah, there's advantages of doing all of it at one time. Doing this renovation, that two-story building, and the Public Works building comprehensively, one bond issue. I think it will save you money in a lot of different categories, a lot of different buckets of savings and efficiency.
It's something we're looking at. We want to be able to see what we could afford to do both at the same time. Additionally, mobilization costs. If you do one and then you do another one, they add mobilization each time they go and do that. So you're going to save there as well. But if we have to, we could split it up too. So the numbers, once we get the numbers back, then we go talk to our bond consultant, bond counsel, and say, okay, what would this cost? And do we have the income stream in the future to pay for it? So it may be that we can do both at the same time, but it may be that we have to do one first and then the other. So that's all to be determined. That's where we're at this stage now, so we can get to the next stage.
And from the time the ink dries on the contract to the time it's completed, is this a 10-year project, a 2-year project, a 6-month project, ballpark?
It's not a 10-year project. And it's probably a little longer than a 2-year project.
Okay.
The Public Works building will go quick because it's the pre-engineered building. And I know of, and Jerry and I know of, really good pre-engineered contractors throw a baseball too. So we'll get good bidding. So that'll get out of the stall quickly and get assembled quickly. We can move quickly on the request for qualifications process to get the contract. Probably can see that construction starting sometime next spring or summer. The design process on this is going to take some time, because although I showed you some pretty pictures, unfortunately, actually, I have to sit with everybody again for hours to work the layouts out and make sure that you really kick the tires and know what you need. Sometimes it's hard for a city administrator, clerk, to think about what do I need if I start from scratch. That, I don't want to put pressure on them. That takes some time. So I don't expect those plans to be done if we were to start now until sometime next year. So we wouldn't bid that project until sometime later on in 2020.
Thank you.
That answer your?
Yep.
Any other questions for the architect?
I have a quick question. You called it a civic center, and I don't know what, I was looking, I was kind of distracted, there was a lot to look at, but are there public spaces or anything for the public to do whatever?
Well, there's going to be
Yoga?
a large public lobby.
Okay,
We're going to have functions in.
okay,
And then the council chamber, I would hope that we'd have furniture, maybe something like this, or a little different. We could clean this room out and have public functions as well.
okay.
So there'd be two relatively large spaces in the building that could serve the community when this type of meeting is happening.
So John, that space where the public space is upstairs, the chambers, is actually almost 2 stories high.
Yes.
And it's got a lot of light coming in, and it's kind of the feature of the whole building. And then behind it, you see the smaller building, that's where our administrative offices will
Yes.
be.
The two-story section behind is where all the offices are. All the public spaces are in front. So the public sees that that's their public spaces, and what happens in those spaces can change depending on what this community needs are. It's a modest civic center, but it wouldn't be a civic center.
Okay.
One of the things, Beth, that I talked to these gentlemen about when we were designing, or they were designing it, I was just kind of giving my thoughts, was Light Up Dayton. Light Up Dayton's been so successful here.
Right.
It's been a moving thing for the last 15 years or whatever, and it's been so successful here in the last 5 years. And yeah, this would completely satisfy that.
Okay.
So if it can satisfy throngs of children trying to meet Santa, it can.
We have a big crowd in here, so I was
Yeah,
wondering what.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was one of the things I brought up with him, and it's important to us in this design.
okay, good.
Questions?
What is the next steps and time frame on these projects?
Well,
I-
first next step is for us to get you what we think is a not to exceed budget estimate. And we're working on that. We should be done with that within 2 weeks. I'll share that with Jay and his staff.
And then from the,
He will put together, hopefully, a request for qualifications, solicited into the marketplace with that budget estimate. Show us your qualifications to construct these projects with these general requirements for this amount of money. And then you'll make a selection, and then the clock starts. That's the next step.
so they'll give us an estimate of what they believe the costs are, but the true cost will be after that RFP process continues, when they actually get real bids. But we'll have an idea when we start talking to our bond counsel is, okay, here's what the number looks like it is. What can we afford, and what would the the annual payment be on this debt service? So that's kind of the next step after we get his preliminary numbers. Then we say, okay, what kind of cost is this going to be? But the real cost will be when it's the bidders or the prospective proposers come in and say, here it is, this is what it's going to cost, because they're going to get actual bids from
Right.
contractors.
So all projects will be bid in the marketplace. So the market will be the ultimate arbiter of what it costs. We're here to give you a outer limit of a budget that we won't exceed. anticipation is that if the economy doesn't change, you go sideways, that the projects will be somewhat less than the budget that we established in the RFP.
And again, what Jerry and John are providing us right now is very preliminary. You know, just kind of spitballing some ideas, trying to draw these things out and look at them. It's not costing us anything. It's just continuing our conversation. So I really appreciate what they've done for the city. Jerry's been a longtime Dayton guy, resident, fan. We're a fan of his. And we appreciate all the work that he's done for us. Yeah. You can leave if you want. I mean, we have a lot of stuff in the docket, sir.
John's got to get back to Columbus, so he might want
Yeah,
to
he does have a bit of a cornfield drive. Thanks, gentlemen. Be safe tonight.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Jerry.
See you, Jerry.
Well, that concludes our two presentations for the evening, Mr. Weber and Performance Services, which is going to take us up to the opening up to public comments regarding legislative items on our tonight's agenda. So if there's anything on tonight's agenda that you want to discuss with City Council and administration, the podium is yours. Please recognize that we will call you after 3 minutes. What's that? I'll give you 3 minutes. And we'll give you 7:49, but we'll be nice to you.
Jerry Huntley, 585 Manhattan Boulevard. I've worked with a lot of projects over the past 35 and 40 years, exactly what they're talking about. There are a lot of pros and a lot of cons about having it all under one roof.
We know.
If you guys are not familiar with it, I'd love to sit down and have a pre-conversation with you before you enter into any agreements.
Yeah.
First of all, are they going to give you a breakout of their engineering and then their business management, project management? Should happen. Number two, you can set different percentage levels of what they have to maintain in markup if they are going to manage that project and you're not putting each individual entity out to bid. Okay? Because it sounds like what they're wanting to do, and I used to do it a lot with St. E., is they want to manage and incorporate everything under one hat,
That's right.
which is great as far as you have one person to communicate with, one person to blame, et cetera. It will cost you an average of 7 to 15% additional cost versus bidding it out independently. That's all I got to say.
Well, we're not, there's going to be an RFP process, so there will be teams that come together with architects and contractors. This company does it all under one roof. But we're not necessarily going with them. We're going to see who brings us the best bid to do the design build. And that can be separate teams that come together to build it.
That's
So-
what I'm asking. So they're going to give you an engineering number, then a separate construction contract fulfillment number.
Right, yes. So, but I'd love to talk to you more about it. So we've done some research on it, but anything you've got to
Yep.
share, that'd be great.
Did it a lot. Okay, thank you.
You got an extra 2 minutes if you want, Jerry. All right. Well, appreciate your time. Anybody else with anything on tonight's agenda? Yeah, sure. We know your name, but Ms. Volter, if you'd please,
I live at River
name and
Point.
address.
I've just got a question about, when he was talking about the river walk and about taking the trees down. What about the erosion? That was not even mentioned.
So,
I know Bellevue had a heck of a problem we dumped a lot into before we even started the river walk.
we're not going to really have too much problems with erosion because what the trees were all taken down when they started to fill. That's all filled with concrete chunks. And there's, the dirt that's on there was basically been washed up by the river. So there's very little, all those trees were taken down originally when they filled that all in and raised it above the 100-year flood zone. So that's the problem with the trees. The trees we got are not great trees because they don't have really any purchase in those rocks. The big trees we had, the cottonwoods, we had to take down because they were dangerous.
Those were like historic to date.
I know,
on the
but they were
riverfront.
dangerous. They only
Anyway.
one of them.
Can't bring them back.
Yeah, I understand. But the issue is that there is, erosion is not a problem because that's all rock underneath that underneath the hillside there. So it's not, if it eats away, it's not eating away at dirt, it's rock. So basically, that's not an issue. The biggest problem is when we plant the new trees, we're gonna have to dig out some of those rocks and put soil in there so those trees can live, the right kind of trees. The weed trees will grow anywhere, but the trees we want to put in there will require a little bit of work.
And just one other thing, I don't know if you'd say it was on the agenda, but it was ours. We couldn't see the screen at all.
Oh,
And it's-
couldn't?
I hate the podium here because it looks like you're excluding the constituents. That their back is to us, and if you can't even see what they're saying, much less hear it, and you cannot see what's on the screen, people sitting here, because the people standing here like, block. So, and it's just the way it's perceived. We've always
Okay, yeah.
had
That's good.
that as a,
It's good to know.
That's good feedback.
yeah.
So, Kathy, you
If they could
couldn't
just,
see
if it
the
could be
screen?
cocked to the side even. No, we couldn't see the screen here at all. That's why I kept getting up to
It's
see.
too
it.
far away.
Because,
80 inch.
no, because the bodies were blocking it.
Oh,
Yeah.
move that up.
If the rock, yeah, if this could just be moved.
Okay, that's
a bit
good
to the
feedback.
side.
I have a question.
We could
You
also,
mean the audience, they see your back, or on camera, they see your back, or both?
I don't know about on camera.
Okay.
It just,
You're sitting there and you have to look at their back. Okay. Okay.
we could do a
Put
separate
it there.
separate monitor.
Separate television.
Right. It's easy,
Yeah.
that's easy enough.
Okay, that's
We could run
good
it-
feedback.
Run it down that wall, round that pole right there, pole right there. Yeah, we can do that.
All right, Jess, get on it. One of the many things that you do for our community. Thank you, Ms. Volter. Good feedback. Okay, so does anybody else like to address the administration and council for tonight's agenda items? All right, we're gonna go ahead and close that, which brings us right next to the ordinances. The first on the docket will be second reading for ordinance 2026-7. Ms. Klein, please.
An ordinance amending the personnel and pay classification plan of the City of Dayton, Kentucky, including establishing city employee salaries for the 2026-27 fiscal year and amending compensation ranges for these positions.
Mr. Fawcett, this is a second reading. Would you mind explaining?
Yeah, we, as I mentioned last meeting, we're required, when we need to change the personnel pay classification plan, and that's what we have done with this ordinance. It just updates what the pay ranges are for the various jobs we have in the city.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept ordinance 2026-7?
So moved, Mayor Baker.
Member Judd's made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Member Kelly's made a second, which opens it up for conversation. Do we have any questions or conversations regarding 2026-7? All right. We have a motion by Member Judd and a second by Member Kelly. Can I have a roll call, please, Ms. Klein?
Member Neary,
Aye.
Member Neiman,
Aye.
Member Kelly,
Aye.
Member Judd,
Aye.
Member Lovins.
Aye.
Member Horton.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Passes. Next up is the first reading. So the first reading of ordinance 2026-8. Ms. Klein, please.
An ordinance amending Section 32.21 of the Dayton Code of Ordinances to change the time of the city council meetings to 6:30 PM.
So at the last meeting, Councilmember Kelly had recommended that we make the change so that the meetings don't get done so late in the evening, and the people can get back home to their family after the meetings are over. So that's why we've made this recommended change.
So this would be moving, and again, this is just a first reading, so we have time to think about it and ask questions, but this would be moving the meeting from 7 o'clock to 6:30. Someone said 6. Well, that's a conversation. I've heard we should just step it down. So let's see how the 6:30 goes, if y'all are in consideration of it. If you want to say something.
For people that are working, is that an issue to get here on time?
Problem.
I've not pointed at anyone in particular on that one, but
I was just gonna say, I've volunteered a lot of things, and, usually 6:30, people can make 6 can sometimes be a little harder if you don't
Right.
get done until 5. But even running home and feeding the dog and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
I can still usually get someplace by 6:30.
So it's a good first step if you all so choose.
Someone who does work all day, the earlier the better, because we would like to eventually just go home and shower and relax.
Understood.
Yep.
So that was the first reading of 2026-8, and up next would be an order resolution. This one is called Order Resolution 2027-11 Romeo. Ms. Klein, please.
An order resolution of the Board of Council of the City of Dayton requesting the Dayton Planning Commission consider and make recommendations to the City Council regarding a proposed text amendment to the city zoning code to allow multifamily uses as an adaptive reuse of buildings in the R1JJ zone in buildings previously operated as commercial or industrial uses, subject to density requirements and adequate off-street parking for future residents and visitors of the buildings.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Fawcett?
So we have a developer who's interested in purchasing the McGraw property, which is on 8th Street. It used to be the coffee roaster, I think originally, but it was a Perry and Derrick paint company for a while. It's an old industrial building that Mr. McGraw owns. He's been trying to sell it for a while. It's a nice building in terms of bones, but it's got a lot of stuff in it. It needs a lot of work. So the advantage of this building is that it has a very large footprint. So there will they want to put, I think, 12 units? I can't remember. Cassie, do you remember the number of the units? 15 units. But all those people that would be living there can park privately on this lot. It's very large. It runs all the way to the railroad tracks. So it's right now it's been empty. Mr. McGraw is used to do woodworking there, but he's ready to sell it. It's been on the market for quite a while. I invited Tony Cruchans to come look at it, and he declined to do it. So in order to do this, in order to make it single-family residential, it was originally an industrial use. We don't want an industrial use in a residential neighborhood. And so if we don't allow some change here for adaptive reuse, it's just going to stay an empty building. So the idea is to change the zoning through a text amendment to allow multifamily in the R1JJ, which is where this is, but to have certain restrictions and requiring density issues and off-street parking, and I think this will accommodate all those things. So we want to send that to the Planning Commission for them to vet it and to ask any questions they have of the developer, and then they would eventually come back to you, and you all make the ultimate decisions. It's a text amendment. You can agree to do it, or you could agree not to do it. But we believe, the city staff believes, that this is probably the best adaptive reuse. It's residential, and it would take a building that's currently underutilized and improve it and add tax value to the city.
Is this the little gray one?
The
Underneath, yeah.
gray building, yes. It's right where that little loop goes off of Brooklyn, I don't know what that road is, but it's right there on that loop. It's where the old coal bins were that they used to drop coal off into the city.
It says Grandpa's Workshop on it.
That's his
I believe it
workshop.
does, yes.
Yeah.
And it
He lives
was so
3
many
doors,
years.
4 doors down from it.
He's a good guy.
Did you mention Tony Krumschev?
What's that?
Did you
Corrections?
Tony would be doing the development? Is that who you mentioned?
The gentleman that's doing the development his name is Vinning, Vinning. He lives in Fort Thomas. He has done a project in the city. What street was that they did? That was on 8th too, and redid the back of the building. They had a old carriage house back there. He did a really nice job. We were impressed with that work. So he's also doing another project. Where did he say that was? On Latonia. Yeah, there was the old florist at Ridley's Corner had a fire, and he's in there fixing up that building too. So he wants to invest again in the city. So far, I told him I want to see some other projects so we can vet him. But so far, what I've seen, he does pretty good work.
So will this new zoning define these density requirements and the adequate off-street parking requirements?
Yes.
Okay.
So it would, and so this is a unique piece of property. I don't think that there's any other one this size that could accommodate all the things we want. So it may be a one-shot deal. There might be others, but not flat like this really in this zone. So, and there's no large industrial building I know on the R1JJ like this. So if you don't do it, if you don't allow it to be done as some sort of residential, I don't see that you're going to really be able to do anything with that building. You can't really, you don't want to put commercial in the middle or industrial in the middle of a residential neighborhood.
So this is, I guess no motion's been made yet, I'll wait.
What's that?
I'll wait till a motion's been made, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so this,
Do you
this,
want, you want to make a motion second, then we have conversation?
Or have the conversation beforehand.
Well, why don't we do that? Motion, follow the rules. Then we can have a conversation. Do I have a motion to accept order resolution 2027?
I'll make that motion.
Dash
Sorry.
11 Romeo.
Yes.
Member Neiman's made a motion. Do I have a second?
Okay, now I can ask my question, I'm
Who
sorry.
was the second?
who did second? Was-
I'll second.
All right.
Okay.
Member Lovins made a second. Mr.
Sorry.
Neary, I believe you have some questions.
Yeah, this is authorizing, this is council authorizing the planning commission to rewrite the R1JJ.
To do what's called a text amendment, which will amend the text to allow this type of use in that zone.
But that'll apply across all R1JJ throughout the city. Can't this be handled through Board of Adjustments as a variance?
No, this is not a variance. Variance only deals with spaces and measurements. It doesn't deal with text amendments or zone changes. You can't do a zone, you could do a zone change if you wanted, which is a map amendment, but this would be spot zoning. And the easier way is to do it this way because we can make sure that how it's designed is that really, this will be a one-shot deal. I don't think
Understand.
anybody else can do
I
it.
appreciate the investment, and yeah, it's a great
The Board of
use.
Adjustment can't do it. They deal with variances and conditional uses, and this is neither one of them.
And
they-
could this be applied to other properties within R1JJ in the
It
city?
sure could, but I don't know there are any other. We're gonna put some restrictions on there requiring the size of the lot to be a certain size and off-street parking. I don't know of any, and I've looked around, that I can see that would ever qualify that. There are some lots that are on the hillsides, there are none that are flat like this.
Okay.
But I think it would be a one-shot deal, but you never know. Someone might be able to put together 3 or 4 pieces of property and try to do it, but that's a big expense to do that.
Understood. Thank you.
So we've had a motion by Member Neiman and a second by Member Lovins. Some conversation with Member Neary. Any other conversations regarding order resolution 27-11 Romeo? Well, with a motion and a second, can I get a roll call, please, Ms. Lovin, or Ms. Klein?
Member Kelly?
Aye.
Member Judd?
Aye.
Member Lovins?
Aye.
Member Horton?
Aye.
Member Neary?
Aye.
Member Neiman?
Aye.
The ayes have it unanimously, so it passes.
Mayor, I just want to let you all know that you all have final decision on this. This is just for their review and recommendation, and you have the final decision about whether to approve it or not. But that comes to an actual ordinance.
Could you alert all of council for when that planning commission meeting will be?
Yes,
So we can
I suspect-
avoid repeat questions.
we had one Thursday, but it was too quick to get on that agenda. I suspect it will be in August, the third Thursday, but I'm not sure about that at this point, but that's,
All right.
we have to get this to them, and they have to advertise it, so I think will be next month.
All right, thank you.
Next on the docket is order resolution 2027-12 Romeo. Ms. Klein, please.
An order resolution authorizing the mayor to execute indemnification agreements with Jenny F. Schlosser Trust, the Clem R. Fennel Trust, and/or others with an ownership interest in connection with construction of Phase 2 of the Dayton Pike Sidewalk Project.
Mr. Fawcett, if you could please explain.
Yeah, so this is a follow-up. Last month, we approved individuals signing, giving indemnification agreements to individuals, but now we've learned that there's also some trust involved, and they want the same thing. So this is the final piece we have to get every property owner along Dayton Pike to sign off on allowing us to do this construction. We have to go on their property, we're not taking their property, we have to go on it to build the sidewalk there. We've gotten sign off on everybody except them, so this is trying to get the final piece of the pie to allow us to move forward with construction. So KYTC will not move forward until they have sign-offs from everybody. So we have to make sure the trusts are also included, and we'll sign the consent and release agreement, not just the individuals. So that's why.
All right, so you're on record saying the word final, by the way, just.
What's that?
You're on record saying the word final. This is the final step, right?
Well, The final step is KYTC has the design plans and they have to
Oh,
approve.
here we go. All right.
So that's the final step.
Anyways,
We're still hopeful that,
Motion to accept that.
Member Judd has made the motion to accept. Do I have a
second.
second to accept?
I'll second.
Member Horton's made a second. Any questions, comments, or concerns regarding Order Resolution 2027-12, Romeo?
Just that folks will be really excited when this finally gets done.
for sure.
Exactly. Any other comments about excitement? Disappointment? We'll take both.
Call the question, Mayor.
Roll call, please.
Member Neiman.
Aye.
Member Kelly.
Aye.
Member Judd.
Aye.
Member Levens.
Aye.
Member Horton.
Aye.
Member Neary.
Aye. And the ayes have it unanimously. Which brings us right along to our favorite section of the week, the month, the Department Director's Monthly Reports. So as typical tradition, we'd like to go ladies first. Ms. Patterson, your report on code enforcement for the month.
Copy of my report. And Bill's report.
Is it not working?
Grass is growing, houses are getting inspected. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Grass is growing wildly.
Grass is growing crazy, yes.
Ask Rick.
I mean, I
The
think
rain,
3 inches
the
today.
humidity, the sunshine, it's, yeah, it's hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it's wild.
So,
Have you noticed anybody, you know, when you cut your grass, sometimes it goes
Blows in the street?
on the sidewalk, and then people blow it in the street. What do you do about that?
that is a violation.
So you're not supposed to blow grass in the street?
Absolutely not.
All right, I'm noting that. I won't do that ever
Absolutely
again.
not, yes,
I've never done it.
absolutely not. Most people are pretty, a lot of people don't know that. So when you know, sometimes if they're out there doing it, I say, hey, you know,
Yeah.
and they'll fix the problem.
So
That's good.
Cassie,
Some,
why is it because it goes down the storm drains and
Yes.
because you slide when you're on a motorcycle?
yes, it's
Motorcycle,
dangerous.
it'll kill a guy.
Yeah.
It's a hazard.
Why don't you put it on Facebook? Because
Let's give
I
it
had, I had a tenant that argued, you know,
We
that,
could-
oh yeah, you just leave it there. And I'm like, no, you really don't.
No, no,
Like
no.
I was nuts.
clean
Yeah,
it
put it on Facebook.
Yes.
Say, do you
And
know why?
also, I would like to make a statement that if you are cutting your grass, cut out to the curb. I see a lot of grass growing in the cracks of sidewalks and things like that. So yes, you are responsible for the grass in your sidewalk as well.
Put that in the Facebook post too. Lawn facts.
For lawn fact, it's a great
I
idea.
think we should make a video,
No,
more than a post, a video. Let's walk around town and talk about it. So Cassie's not up for
we'll
that.
leave that up to you.
Cassie, for those
I might
that,
be
You
down
can
for
do that, yes.
for those that don't know, could you go over what it takes to get violated for grass being tall?
Sure, 6 inches. Weeds, excessive weeds. I mean, 6 inches, I'm a little lenient with that. I mean, that's like a week
And
in
for-
this time, you know?
And then
So,
when someone violates, what's the process when someone violates?
so the
and they're
process
repeat
is you get a
offenders?
notice of violation. Typically, I send you a notice of violation, I give you 7 days. After 7 days, I come back out, I check it. If it's not completed, I give you, then you get a citation. Citation is $100 a day, up to $5,000. So it gets pretty pricey too.
Put that in the Facebook post.
Now, I will
100
say
a
this.
day.
I will say
Make a
this.
video.
We do have a handful of people in the city that don't have lawnmowers and don't have, you know, young kids coming around. They don't have the money to pay somebody. So we do have like a small little program that we kind of will help people out. All I want you to do is give me a call. That's basically what I ask for. You know, people will call and say, hey, I'm going on vacation next week. My grass is probably going to be crazy when I get back, but I will get it cut. So if you call, that's all I want is you to call me, reach out, say, hey, there are volunteer groups that would love to help people. I mean, we're not going to go cut 100 yards, but you know, if there's an elderly, there was a veteran that I know Bill cut his grass several times. So yeah, if you just reach out and say, you know, can't do it, we'll try to find some way to help you to be able to get that done. So.
And Cassie, in some cases, if people just ignore you, we have Public Works go and cut the grass, and then we put a lien on for the cost
Yes.
of that as well. So you could get that
We
as
have
well.
had Public Works, so then what we do is they send me the bill amount, time, truck, if they have to haul away things, stuff like that, and then we send them the bill. If they don't pay it, then we put that as a lien on their property. It can get costly.
I have,
And when-
I have a small question. When you have the gutter and you did the lawn, or they did the lawn, you have the gutter, and there are all these like grass and weeds growing out, is that also their responsibility, like get all that out of that gutter, right?
Sure.
Okay,
Under our ordinances.
thank you.
Yeah.
Cassie, are you the one to talk to about the animal control packet we got as well? Are you the one overseeing the animal control stuff?
Sure,
Kind
why
of.
not?
Sure, why not?
What's going on with all the cats? There seems like a lot of cat issues.
Are you new to town?
Is that not? Is that like? It seems like a very high amount for this past month, though.
Well, yeah, the cats they're out right now.
Somebody keeps like dropping off baby kittens everywhere in this
We had 8 show up at our house, 8 kittens. And Terry was
Well,
great.
right now is
It's kitten
the
season.
season. It's kitten season.
Yeah.
So they're having kittens everywhere. You see them kind of peeking out.
There was a box.
And look who's here. So we're working to try to find,
We're working on getting funding for the trap neuter release. We'll re-release them back that we found them at.
Yes.
I'm trying to fundraise and help Terry with that as much as possible, as well as handle a lot of it myself. We're working on getting that funding. I know you're applying for a grant down there with that. I'm gonna be doing quite a bit of the trapping and handling that part myself after I get the funds raised for it. I've been keeping notes on where all the cats are. There are, within the downtown part, I've already got about 18 of them that I'm tracking and getting ready to try to catch once I have the pictures.
they're even
So-
in my neighborhood. We have cats like crazy.
Oh, yeah,
They're multiplying. Terry's up there trapping in my neighborhood all the time.
So you used to do that, right? The TNR?
TNR.
And then that, whoever was paying for it backed
Yes.
out, and so we
Yes.
haven't had it for a long time?
Right.
So have you noticed an increase in cats because we don't have that program? Or
I
not
mean-
particularly?
I don't really trap the cats. She just kind of sends me a report. I do know, I mean, we've had a little bit higher of call volume, but I just think it's that season.
Okay.
It's kitten season. So I think people see a kitten and they think, oh my God, there's 10 more, which sometimes there are.
What is the gestation
It's not
period
long.
of
I
a
think it's
feline?
like 3 months? 2 months? Yeah, it's not long. And then they can the next month produce 10 more cats.
63 to 65 days.
How many cats can one cat produce in a year?
They can do 4 litters a year.
But what's the average of a litter?
Average litter is anywhere from 2 to 8.
You are better than ChatGPT, sir.
I've been doing a lot of research on this recently.
But is there a fine for people who put these kittens in a box and then like leave them on the corner and mom walks by and forced to take the box?
Yes.
Something?
There's an animal cruelty charge, and Terry she will file that if you know who it is.
Yeah, that's not
The
cool.
problem is trying to catch the people.
But like, every couple weeks it's happened, these kittens are showing up in a box and try not to get foul, so you have to take the box to save the kittens.
Right.
And the shelter's overfilling right now with them, so that's, even with some of the kids, I'm gonna start taking some from here myself, talking about it, so.
Yeah.
That's where the trap
It is
and
sad.
release part comes in, because once we release them, they're fixed, they're vaccinated, they're gonna prevent other cats from coming into the area because they're very territorial. So it's gonna help stop a lot of this population on the streets, but irresponsible owners drop them off, it's a different situation, they're gonna have to try to track them.
Right. Right.
Not to change the subject, but I've got 2 questions for you. And I got to be careful how I say this. Dayton Pike is a mess with gravel, with gravel washing down the driveways, as has been going on for a while, driving over the curb and the wreck curb so that everything's running onto the sidewalk. Twice now I've shoveled off that sidewalk section. Is there any citations been issued for that parking on the Northern Kentucky Water District property? Or any citation or action taken with this gravel running down the driveways on the east side?
The east side, I talked to them last heavy rain. They promised me they were gonna concrete that whole area. I'll revisit that with them. Was it bad again this past rain?
With that rainfall, yeah. And
The
it's
rain is-
damaging cars.
I mean, it's just been a weird, the rain is not a typical rain. I mean, it's like downpour. We've had a ton of issues throughout the city.
But that's been going on for years,
Yeah.
coming off those, and that parking and the junk that's piled up there, the gas grill and the bicycle and everything on the Water District
Yep.
property. If you could put that on your list. The second thing is, we had discussions about Airbnbs, and we've been having discussions behind the scenes, and you put some data together for us and said you were going to have hard copies tonight.
I do.
Okay. You want to do that now, or?
Yeah,
Cool.
I sent you an email. Did you get it?
Pardon me?
Did you get my email?
Yes.
For hard copies.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. It's basically kind of the same thing, although I did tweak the,
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, because this is the information we needed as far as the density and the locations and the police reports on these properties.
you have questions?
Why don't you, Cassie, why don't you go through it a little bit and talk about what you've given so that they can, the audience can
So
hear
in the
it?
city, right now, we have 34 units. We have 30 properties. One property is 2 units, that's the 6th Avenue, and then Vine has 3 units, and 314 Fourth has 2 units, but they live in 1 unit. I checked with the police department for the police reports, and since January 1st, we've had 3 calls.
What are those calls encompass?
Parking complaint, and one was for an intoxicated subject.
So,
Cassie, do you have another one of these?
You have
Yeah.
mine.
Do you have an extra one? Can they have it?
Sure.
Okay.
Or I can get you a copy.
Well, I promised you I would look into this, and administration's been looking into it.
Code violations, not many. We had 15. A lot of those were rental licensing that people miss. We had a lot of rental license violations, so that's not really strange. We had grass, drainage. One guy did some repairs without permits. He got that. So yeah, I mean, we haven't had much, I mean, on our end, we have not had much trouble. I know that there's a lot of complaints with parking, but that's kind of more of a police issue. Unless they're parking in the yard, I don't really deal with that. And the noise is also more of a police issue.
Okay.
So on my end, I don't really see anything that stands out that's an issue. And apparently from the police, we had 3 calls.
Understood.
So in 7 months, we had 2 complaints about parking.
I'm sorry,
In 7 months, we had 2 complaints about parking.
2.
Okay.
At the police department. Now, I have gotten several emails in my, on my complaint line, but it's, I'd say maybe 3.
Okay.
And that's on a weekend when there's a party and they come home and there's no parking. So, yeah.
Thanks for this data. 30 properties out of 2,600 properties in town. I thought the number would be higher.
Yeah. It's not. And from the rental side, I mean, Bill and I talked about it, and, you know, I mean, most of these properties are pretty, we don't have a problem with grass. They have regular maintenance. They're, I mean, he said all of them are really nice. And
And
there's
the-
not one that's, you know, kind of even mediocre. They're pretty well kept.
And the short-term rentals, these 30 are inspected just like every other rental
Just like
property?
every other unit, yes.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that. There's some
Yep,
misinformation going on about that.
right. They sure are. You have to pay rental just like everybody else.
Cool. Thank you.
Sure. If anybody has any questions,
Anybody have any
call,
cat
email,
questions, dog
whatever.
questions?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
She
you.
took a fish in once. I had a snapping turtle issue the other day. It was wild.
And a dead alligator.
Yeah, dead alligator.
Yeah. God bless her.
All right, well, thank you, Ms. Patterson, for your report. Appreciate you. We're going to bring up the police next. Chief Hatfield, if you wouldn't mind giving council and administration your report, sir.
You guys have my monthly report. Did anybody have any questions on any parking or criminal activity or anything like that? No. As you see with June, we had a very busy June. So start of summer, so it's not very untypical for June. So the guys have done a really good job. So we don't have any questions. I just have two kudos for the officers. We had one. I'm not sure who the officer was. They stopped a female on Manhattan for traffic infraction. It was like expired plates or something like that. She actually had the correct plate inside of her car. So they took the time to help that person take the old plate off, had a tool, took the old plate off and put the new one on so she wouldn't be stopped again for that infraction. So I got a thank you from the mother. It was a daughter, I guess, that got stopped, and I got a thank you from the mother for the officer for going out of his way to do that for him. And the other one we had, I was on vacation last week, but I had a voicemail from a lady for Detective Howe. She just left her name as Janine. Reached out and wanted to thank Officer Howe for responding to a well check for her daughter, who was in crisis at the time, juvenile. She advised that she's not sure what he said to her, but she is a whole new person with a whole new lease on life and hope in her heart. I felt the need to reach out and say thank you, and Detective Howe is so appreciated and amazing at his job. He made a huge difference that day, and she just wanted him to know how thankful I am. So those are the nice things you like to hear from the community. Sometimes people don't reach out and tell you those things, but those are nice voice messages you like to get. So anytime I get those, like last month, if there's a kudos for an officer, I'll present it at the council meeting so you guys are aware and you get to hear. Sometimes you just don't get to hear some of the good that I just want to share that.
Chief, you want to talk about share about the e-bikes?
Yes, so we did purchase 2 e-bikes. So what we did was kind of got a 2-for-1. Going to the IACP conferences, which is the International Police Chiefs Conferences, there are several, the hall with all the people trying to sell you stuff and all that stuff, the vendor hall is very massive. So I made my point to stop at every e-bike company that was out there. And most of them, the price for these e-bikes were 10 grand or more. So these were full packaged, with police, sirens, lights. I mean, there were some of them from other countries that had license plate readers on them. I mean, you could put whatever you want on these things. It was amazing. But one of our neighboring departments, Newport, had 2 new e-bikes that they purchased from the Bellevue e-bike store. I've been in there before, and I didn't see anything that looked, I guess that's when they were first starting up, looked that'd be equivalent to what kind of fit our needs. But I went down with Sergeant Lynn Kugel and we looked at what Newport had. He took some pictures, sent them to me, so we went to the e-bike store, and I thought that what they had would fit our needs, and they gave us a really good deal. So we got 2 under what I budgeted for. So I was asking for 2, got approved for 1 with the price that I was looking at, but we were able to find them at a cheaper price, kind of what we needed. We can do the little things ourselves, like put the police stickers on ourselves. I bought bags and new helmets and stuff like that that put us way under budget for that. So, they're actually in the back room right now. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to have, we have to do train the officers on the bikes. So it's just an administrative thing for injuries and things like that. They have to be trained. So that's perfect for the new bike trail or the river walk that we have. It's easier to get those out and down around that area instead of the quad and the gator and the side by side. It's a little bit more difficult, but we can, and we're accessible to a majority of the city.
Inner parks too.
And parks, correct. Correct. So that's been the first purchase out of the new budget. So they should be out shortly. Hopefully in a couple weeks we'll see us out there.
I saw our guys out there training on them. They seem to enjoy it. It looks great having them on the ground in the community. So I think this is an amazing program. Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, when I was here the first time in '98, in the early 2000s, I was on the bike patrol here, and it was amazing. It was fun. You see a lot of things. You meet a lot more people when you're not in a cruiser. You can meet more people in the community, stop and talk, and you see more things, hear more things when you're not in a cruiser with the air conditioning and the radio blaring. So you see a lot more things. So
What kind of stuff do you blare in your radio, sir?
Well, I'm sorry, it's this radio here.
Oh, I thought it might have been Journey.
If I had a CD player in my cruiser right now, it'd be bad. So.
It was really great to hear the stories. I like hearing those stories about the police officers. I was going to ask about the e-bikes, so thanks for the update on that.
Yep.
Last update I was wanting to see is, were we able to find a part-time police officer? I think we were looking at staffing a half-time.
We have not. We did put something on Indeed for the month of June. We did it for the whole month. We did get several people that applied, but they weren't eligible. We were looking for people that were already trained police officers. And some of the ones that applied were not to my desire. I guess they've had a little bit of baggage or some problems at other departments that I don't want to bring into this department. So I have not had luck. But we do have luck with some full-time officers. We do have a couple in mind that would like to come to the police department as a full-time police officer, but we're not having any luck with part-time. Part-time anymore is it's harder to find those with the pay and things like that. It's just hard to, you don't see many part-time police officers. So it's been difficult.
Any other questions or comments for Chief Hatfield tonight? Well, thank you for your time this evening, sir.
All right, thank you.
Next up, keeping in line with first responders, let's go with Fire Department. Chief Schaefer. How was the 4th of July?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Out of the norm, so. I know, I don't want to say too much.
Nope, you did fine.
But, so kind of like Chief Hatfield was saying, our runs are up a little bit. We had 177 runs in June, 56 fire incidents, 121. Like he was saying, it's that time of year. You know, bad ideas with the best of intentions. So, training, I'll show you, still got guys working on driver's training and working on the trucks. So far, almost 1,200 hours year to date. So these guys love to get out and train. No CPR, 7 inspections. Inspections were down a little bit, but June was also vacation time, so people, with the heat and people being there for 2 or 3 days, weren't getting out quite as much, but we had a lot going on. Update on our software, that ended up going great. Can't say it was hiccup free, but way less than I anticipated. Learned a valuable lesson. 6 weeks is, probably won't do that in that short a time again. We'll just leave it at that, but it's all working. We did start our junior firefighter program. We got 3 junior firefighters. One of them she's gonna be a senior at Dayton this year. They're all 3 in the vocational school program. Alex Hassard's spearheading that. They've been coming down once a week, getting their feet wet. Pretty excited about that. They're excited, we're excited, so that's great. Steve Knuckles, he's one of our firefighter medics. He actually used to be a writer for the Enquirer, really likes writing. He's taken a bunch of grant classes, so he did get us a grant for everybody got new structural firefighting gloves and new safety vests, so we got that this month. Along with that, we had 4 move-up assignments and mutual aid responses to neighboring cities, and that's all I got. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Have a good evening. Well, it's been raining, it's been sunny, it's been humid, grass is growing. What you got, Chief? Or, Rick? You should be a chief.
Chief Rick. Yeah.
Chief Lucas, what you got?
Grass is growing. We're getting a little bit caught up. I mean, we're still behind. Right now, we're cutting the flood wall, and we cut it 2.5 weeks ago already. I mean, we're doing what we can. Baseball fields, all that. I mean, we're pretty good in the city.
We've had some major rain events.
Right?
We've had some major rain events the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a
When
really bad
had-
one on Saturday. How'd your team respond?
Worked out great. I mean, there was 3 of us came in. We popped the manhole covers off on all 4 corners on 4th. Still wouldn't go down. The manhole that's going up the hill right here on Berry, it blew it off. So the
Yeah.
pressure, I don't know if it's water or air, blew it up and it removed. So we had to put that back on. Alleys have all been cut. Good shape. We still got some roadside to cut back yet. It's been very hot. And like I said, we're working on the flood wall now. The park has been cut. That one's already being cut. Sergeant Park, that was running tonight. In fact, when I get down here, I'd like to be able to leave to go lock it up. They just call me. I don't like to leave it open this late at night. But other than that, I mean, we're just swamped. And we got vacation coming up, people. But we'll get through it. We'll get through it.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
Oh, it's your busy season, man. Does
And we're
anybody have
gonna
any
be hitting
questions?
a walking trail too here.
Yeah, how's that going?
We haven't started on it yet, but it's getting, we'll be cutting it back. I mean, we gotta get some of it cut back. And now it's, what, another half mile longer?
Yeah, another mile longer.
A little bit longer
Yeah,
than that.
mile, yeah. So yeah, other than that, anybody got any questions?
Okay.
No, Joe.
I'll ask you later.
No.
The water event that we happened on Saturday. So I've been living in that house since, I don't know, about almost 20 years now. Never seen an inch of water in my house. Never even a trickle, really.
Oh, I came in your house Saturday?
Yeah. I mean, it came up through the sewers because the sewers couldn't
Right,
take
that's
it all.
because all
right?
the pipes were filled.
So I know back in the day, I don't know if it's still true now, Jay, maybe you know better than I, but there was a backflow valve program that SD1 had.
Right.
So if it's happening to me, it's happening to my neighbor. I know that because I called her. Probably happening to many folks in our neighborhoods. Do they still have that program with a backflow?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they still do it or not.
It's really cool thing that they, I mean, it costs thousands of dollars to do, even though it's a $10 piece, but they have to
Right.
dig down and put it in there. But if they still have that program, I'd like to see if it's available for our citizens to,
I'll look into it.
yeah, because it's, I mean, we sat in our basement and watched the water go from nothing to 3 inches and down to nothing within minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing.
And we were lucky. It could have been feet.
Right.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, all my baseball cards, they're gone.
It wasn't just here. Fort Thomas, which is the highest point,
Yeah.
they had all kinds of flooding in basements here. It's the same thing.
you see
It's just so
Cobra
much
Run?
rain, the pipes could not handle it all.
Cobra Run had water that deep going down.
Yeah. Looked
It's
like
just
it
so
was
bad.
fast.
And then, I mean, 4th Street, like I said, nothing was clogged, there's just no place to go. And all the complaints I got on the street were water's coming up through the basement.
Yeah.
And at the high point down there by Clark Street,
Right.
saying it's coming up. Down here on this end, there was a couple ladies came out and said it was coming up through the,
But the good issue is that Walnut and Second and Third, no water issues, which has been a problem for a long time. We
Far as I know.
invested quite a bit of money with SD1 in making that better, and that
and
worked out.
4th Street wouldn't have flooded. It just didn't have nowhere to go.
When it comes down like that, and it came down, man, not much you can do.
Yep, it was
Well,
quick.
Anybody else have any questions or comments for Mr. Lucas? Chief Lucas? All right, Chief, you have a good night, sir.
You mind if I leave?
I don't mind.
Okay.
I believe that concludes this evening's department heads minus Mr. Fawcett's, we got 5 left?
5, months?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will be 5 after this month.
All right, so give us your 5th
I just have
greatest report.
a couple things. You probably noticed in the community that there's been a lot of repaving done and was finished last month, or this month. The city spent $600,000 in repaving streets in the city. That's the most I've looked at budgets in the past, it's the most we've ever spent on repaving. They did a great job. There is people saying, well, there's a block on 4th Avenue that wasn't paved. What's that all about? Well, that wasn't paved because the water district did not get repairs done on that section. So next year, that will be one of the sections that get repaved when they get done with the repairs. We didn't want to pave it and then have them rip it all up, so we just waited. It doesn't look great because it's got really nice paving on both sides of it, but that block will get finished when water district's done with that work. We also got the portions of Dayton Pike that were damaged by the water district when they put a new line in there. Those have been repaved. And we have a grant now in, trying to get funds to repave the entire Dayton Pike from Fort Thomas all the way down to Boone, and then down to where it connects to, what is that, Main Street there? So we're hoping to do that. We also have plans to put new curbs and sidewalks, of course, on Dayton Pike. So we're very close. We got to get KYC to sign off on it, and we need these last consents to do that. So the only other thing, the railing is nearly complete. Susan is on vacation this week, so she, I think she's just got a little touch-up things to do, and then we'll paint it. So we'd like to have a grand reopening of the steps and the railings when it's all finished. So I think we can probably expect to have that done either later this month or August at the latest. So the project looks great. She's done a great job, and it's she says she's like fell in love with those steps. It's got a special place in her heart now. She's put a lot into it. So yeah, we should have that painted and ready to go here in a couple weeks. That's all I have.
I'd like to, and it's been an amazing project she did. It's an integral part to our walkability of our neighborhoods that connects south to north and north to south and all that good stuff. Can we rename it the Green Devil's Backbone?
You're the mayor.
Sweet, it's getting done. I don't know if you guys know the reference of that. It's a movie reference. There was a 1990 movie called Airborne. It was actually taped in Dayton. It had Jack Black in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they had this like crazy thing that they did on rollerblades called the Devil's Backbone. It's kind of a cult classic.
Cool.
So if we could like get any interest in our stairs and getting people to go north-south, that'd be cool.
We may have the perfect spot for the sign that says that.
Yes.
Susan's already got some ideas, so That's a good idea. We never name for it yet. That's perfect.
I'm open to other suggestions. Maybe I don't have the best idea.
Did you
What's
ever
up,
play that, did you ever play that movie at Monument Park?
We played it here actually one night. We
Oh,
had
did
4
you?
people
Okay.
show up.
Oh, bummer. Okay.
But if you'd like, and I'm down for this, Ms. Neiman, I'd like to do an annual showing of that
Wow.
movie because it's cool. It's family
never
fun.
seen it.
It's kitschy. It's got Jack Black in it.
Young Jack Black.
Yeah, he's funny. Seth Green, all the people. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Fawcett, for your administrator's report, which would open up the podium for tonight's audience comments. You are allowed to address city administration and council with any of your comments. There is a 3-minute time limit for any comments, so if you'd like to address, please state your name and address.
Hi, hello everyone. Good to see you.
Name and address, ma'am.
My name is Caitlin Sparks, and I live at 708 Vine Street. I've lived in Dayton, Kentucky since 2018, so 8 years. I grew up in Northern Kentucky and Burlington, and then moved here 8 years ago. So it's been awesome living in Dayton, Kentucky. When I first moved in, I was really excited to get to know my neighbors, and several of them I did, especially the folks that lived right next to me, a couple down the street. And those were some older folks. Some of those residents they have since moved out, and yeah, so I'm starting to see a lot of the homes around me be renovated, which is really nice. It's older housing stock, so it's great to have this revitalization of our homes here, but so many of them are being purchased by folks who are buying it for real estate, for short-term rental, for specifically Airbnb and Vrbo. So it's just gotten to be an issue, especially in my little world on the corner. Within a block in every direction, there are 8 Airbnbs in my neighborhood. So it's just there's pros and cons all over this subject, but what I would love to see is that the city is prioritizing home buyers and especially first-time home buyers. It's been so great for me as a first-time home buyer to come to Dayton, Kentucky. It's affordable. It's right across the river from Cincinnati. I could ride my bike wherever I want to. It's just such a lovely place to be. So I'm always talking about Dayton. I'm always saying I'm so proud of the city. Come and experience our trails and our restaurants and the people that live here. And that's my biggest concern with Airbnbs is that we're just it's threatening our sense of community and being able to get to know your neighbors, having people use our trails, attend our schools, serve on the park board or the Main Street board, and just get involved because Dayton's really a great city to do that. That's one of the other things I love about it is I've been able to move here, get to know folks, and get involved, which is so fun. So yeah, I think I came and talked about this subject last fall, and in that situation, it was kind of frustrating because there was this humongous party right behind me, and a relatively new Airbnb. That one's still functioning, and I don't know if there were any conversations had with that particular landlord or property owner, but it's not been as rowdy over there. It does from time to time. It seems like a lot of people end up in this very small unit. So I'm just wondering if there's any regulations on size and people and the capacity ratio. I really don't know. I haven't dug into the regulations, but what I do know is that Dayton doesn't really have any regulations, and I think that we need to spend some time looking at the landscape. I think that we should be able to figure out who has these short-term rentals. And yeah, I'm not coming here tonight to say that I have a solution, but I know that Bellevue and Covington and Newport are all doing something about it. They're limiting the number of Airbnbs in their community. Some of them have, I think Bellevue has a rule that if you're gonna have an Airbnb, you also need to live in the city, and that makes a huge difference. The Airbnb that was a problem last fall, they live further south in Northern Kentucky. They had no idea that these problems were even happening. So anyway, I think my 3 minutes is almost up, but yeah, I just want to say I'd be happy to work with you on this. I would love to do something about it. So I just I don't know if it's all on your all's shoulders, but I think something should be done about regulating Airbnbs.
Thank you, Ms. Sparks.
Yeah.
One of the things that you said that resonate really closely with me is community.
Yeah.
I mean, I love having people come in from anywhere in the world and enjoy our restaurants, enjoy our whatever. And that's great that they're here for a weekend and enjoying that while they're doing the Newport on the Levee, or they're going to a Reds game or whatever. But I really, really love it when they are parts of our park boards, when they're parts of our community, put their kids in our schools. Those are the important things. It's a fine line to balance. And I really appreciate you saying that you want to work with us versus just shake your fist at us, because
Yeah.
that's where we need help.
Yeah, I think
So,
so. Yes.
I appreciate your sentiments, and I feel you.
Cool.
I'm right there in the core with you.
Thank you.
So thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, let's be in touch. Yeah, I'm
Yes,
happy
ma'am.
to help. Thank you so much.
The podium is open for anybody who'd like to address city council. You know you want to.
Yeah, I'm Susan Vader. I live at 1109 Dayton Avenue and 604 Vine Street. And I have been very impacted by the Airbnbs. You missed Cass's presentation, Caitlin. But if there are only 30 of them, 10% of them are on Vine Street, just from the 600 block to the 800 block. And they accommodate 23 people, which is, I think, more people than actually live in that block. So parking is a huge problem. One of our neighbors, Virginia, wanted to come tonight, couldn't come. She's basically trapped in her house all weekend because she doesn't want to lose her parking space. She has a bad knee, and that's the kind of thing that happens. You got, like, a Sunday, there was a guy in the alley who was actually the guest of an Airbnb, could not find a parking space, said, hey, look, I was parked right there. I left for 10 minutes to run to the store. Now there's someone else there. So I think regulations are really important. And I guess when I left last week, Ben, after the meeting, you said you really didn't want to make some. You said you were hesitant because they maintain their property, and you were kind of hesitant to make regulations. I think that's true for the most part, although, Cassie, I invite you to come up Vine Street right now and look at the two on there, because the guy with the rock yard's full in both locations. So, you know, I think that that's really important, and I think the fact that we don't have any invites people to come and almost exploit the situation, you know. And I think that parking is a huge issue, but it's also a lot more about community. I know that some people, well, Kathy has concerns about the school system, same thing that Caitlin's talking about. So I think, now is the time to be proactive and make regulations before some of the big problems happen. It looks like there's not a lot of complaints. Is there some magic number of complaints? I mean,
More than 3, I imagine.
yeah, well, yeah, and I know, Jared, that Patty Simpson's been talking to you. She was actually, she lives on 6th Street. Her parking backs up against the Airbnb above the garage. And she has multiple problems with parking. I think she's called one time. I didn't see it on your list, but I could have missed it. And that person got a ticket. It was actually the cleaning crew for the Airbnb. And she's a little bit hesitant to call now. The cleaning lady got a fine. I think it was pretty hefty, and now calls her a Karen And, Jared told her, the problem is you need to complain every single time.
It does.
And, like the parking situation, people aren't always doing anything illegal, but it is frustrating to leave for a few minutes, and it really is like this. You leave, you come back, and your parking space can be gone. So I think, there's some kind of solution where you can limit the number. There's a house for sale there right now. The guy's rehabbing. And I'm like, oh no, what if he sells it to another Airbnb guy? I think we have our share. So I think that's something to look at, is the neighborhood and, the concentration of where they are. And that's really important to do that. Like Covington does it. I know Ludlow has some kind of thing where they issue parking permits. I guess that's all I had to say. Are you finished? I don't know if you're looking at Airbnb stuff.
I'm looking at the map and I'm looking at the population of Airbnbs on your street.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right.
Yeah, there are a lot.
She's done fine.
And, and it's really inconvenient, and now even guests are complaining. The guy Sunday night is like, this is so stupid. And I'm like, I'm not mad at you. I told him I hate it. It's not his fault. It's not even the owner's fault.
Yeah.
It's really because there's nothing in place to stop that concentration. This guy, you can't, and you are hesitant to complain. The guy heard me talking to Patty today. It's his livelihood. And, I can see why he feels threatened. And then, someone complaining about it threatens it. So that's why I think regulations are really important.
And we
And
have,
it's not, pardon?
I'm sorry, go ahead. We have been, and back in May, Jay sent out an email with all the different options to everybody on council. Since you came up here last month, I promised you, and we've been doing it, looking at all the different regulations. As Caitlin said, there's good and bad to Airbnbs. There's some dumps that got fixed up in the really nice Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And as far as parking, are you going, we can't say, okay, because you're an Airbnb, you can only have one space, or then I sell the place to a family that has 4 cars, you're worse off. So parking in a city is always going to be an issue unless we did, what would we call for resident parking only with the
No, don't do
tags.
that.
And that's a nightmare.
Yeah, I
So
can see how that-
I understand your frustration with the parking, so that's not an issue I don't think we can, and other cities are having problems with that too.
But other cities do have parking regulations. about-
If they have-
Bellevue does.
If they have the room.
Well, okay, the guy that is in our alley, which is the one that causes me personally, and I think Patty Simpkins the most problems, he has 3 garage bays there, or he did. He took one, made it an entrance to the Airbnb. The other 2 are padlocked. And the guy Sunday night told me, he said, he was from Indiana, here visiting, said he'll never come back again. Totally frustrated. He's like, I'm about ready to break those padlocks. And then Patty ended up letting him have her parking, one of her parking spaces. So I think if someone has them, shouldn't they be required to use them?
I just wanted to assure you that we're not ignoring the problem.
Right.
We are looking into it, and there are a
It's a
lot
tough
of
issue.
different options, but we've got to come up with the one that applies to your neighborhood and every other neighborhood in town. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
what I'm asking for is, don't think that we're not doing anything.
Okay.
And don't think that we don't realize it's an issue. But as I said before, there are pluses to this because it does bring visitors into the community and spend money in our restaurants and stuff. And there are negatives with the impact on the residents around there. But we also have impact from homeowners who are, have 5 cars or long-term rentals. It's difficult to say, okay, because you're only there X number of days, you fall into a different category. That's the challenge that we're running into with trying to find the right solution. I'm hoping we can find we can recommend some legislation sometime in the next few months on short-term rentals.
Well, I think it's important to realize too that you have you look at parking differently in my neighborhood than you do on the hill. My tenants have gotten parking tickets for blocking the sidewalk. Up on the hill, I mean, everyone parks on the sidewalk. So I don't think it has to be a one-size-fits-all for the whole city. Different neighborhoods can maybe have different, that's what Covington does.
Yeah, there's a possibility of establishing overlay districts, much like a historic district. These are all the different options that we're looking at. So,
Well, thanks for looking into it. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like it's been a long time coming in a way. You don't know that it's a problem till it affects you.
understood.
So I have an 8-page memo I did. I'm more than happy to share it with you if you all are comfortable
Well,
doing that.
you know, I was working up on the hill. Some guy stopped by and said he saw the council meeting. He didn't like how it went. And what he would like is for Cassie's list to be public knowledge. I mean, to be accessible to the public. You do that with other businesses. Is that something you could do? Share that on the website or not?
I don't know the legalities of that. I don't have a problem with it. We're not trying to hide their little list to our chest.
Well, you know, he asked me, he was supposed to come tonight, but he said he would love to do that, and it would be useful in some ways, or if we issued parking permits. Like, even up on the hill where I was living, I had my nephew and his little baby. I'm going over 3 minutes, aren't I?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Sorry. Could I finish this? But-
Yes, ma'am, you may.
So the problem with the list,
Okay, sorry.
problem with the list is that it's a moving target. So there are Airbnbs today, and then they're gone.
Well,
And then
okay,
there's one.
you know,
I'm just saying that
hopefully he's
we have it,
watching
but
this
it's
and
always
seen
changed.
it.
It's always changed. There are some that are always there, but there are others that come and go. So we never know until we see it on online.
You
So
know,
it's really.
He's watching. He asked for that. I
Yeah.
hope he's watching.
Yeah, but it changes a lot.
But, I mean, if you could have some kind of parking thing where you say, guest of such and such, maybe, you know, I needed medical equipment delivered. I had to go out and ask my neighbors,
So-
please move their car. If you have if you don't know, you know your neighbors' cars, but Airbnb people, or short-term rental people, you may not. So if you had some kind of parking pass like that somebody had to keep in their car, return to the short-term rental, that might work, you know?
So some cities they allow you to have 2 units without off-street parking, but if you go above 2, then for every unit you have above 2, you have to have a parking space privately. There are ways to do it. It's all in the memo. There's a lot of ways you can do it, but we just have to decide if we're going to regulate it, how do we do it? So we've been working on it. It's,
Okay,
we
well,
want to make
thanks.
sure
I
we do
mean,
it.
I left with the impression that, you know, you really didn't think it was a problem. You told me I was the first one to ever complain.
Well, just-
Caitlin had been complaining
It's been-
before, and I think that Patty complains to Jared, but maybe not, it's not official.
Well, we listen to every complaint. I think you know that about us. And we take them seriously.
Okay, well, you know, and I mean, some things to complain about aren't illegal or aren't really anything you can complain about.
Well, the only times things aren't illegal is you complain it long enough, they might be illegal.
Well, that's true. That's true. All right, well, thank you.
Appreciate you, Ms. Bailey.
Bye-bye.
Uh-huh.
Hi. Thank you for saying something, both of you, because we've talked, it's kind of gone around for a long time about we have to have some kind of legislation, and then it kind of goes away because it's hard to, if nobody says anything, to be specific and not just make this thing like, hope that works out. You know, so anyway, thank you for saying it and saying specific things to start, or to get some actual feedback from people who are actually affected.
back to the subject, not just the Airbnb parking issue and that, but as Joe said, the dumps, reminded me of the low-income housing crisis, and especially people who are literally begging to stay in rental properties, who can't afford to live in, other than their cars. I know it just seems to be a fact that we've got these people snatching up these properties with the intent of being rental and/or Airbnbs. And for the long-term community, it's not very conducive. So that brings me back to what I had read this week about the HOME, H-O-M-E, consortium in Covington, that the mayor there posted that the river cities now are going to be allotted more money for down payments and so forth to buy properties.
$10,000.
Can we promote that and try to help some people in
We
town?
have in the past, but we can definitely do it. We're
It's
part of
really,
that.
it's really a crisis. And for people who, we're missing out on school children. When you have these Airbnb transient populations, I'm not against Airbnbs, but some of these properties would be best served by our community members.
Yeah.
If only they had a step up to figure out how to buy a place or had assistance. So that's what I would wish, that you would advertise this home plan again and see if we could help people get into something and snatch up the dumps, get them fixed up. And this really used to be called HONK, I believe.
Homeownership
And
on
to
Northern
give
Kentucky.
credit to a good friend, council member, Penny Hurt, who stood on the board for that forever and brought a lot.
He's on the board.
Well, good.
That's been on the
I'm
board.
currently the board president.
Get on it.
And we have a property in Dayton that's been sitting there for 14 months without anybody interested in it.
Are people aware of the assistance that's available right now because towards that? So,
We've advertised in the past, but we could definitely do it again.
yeah, I hope so, because I remember Penny putting her heart and soul into them. We sold a lot of properties, thanks to her help on that board, and you can be there as our support.
Yeah, happy to help however I can.
Okay, thank you.
I was saying you did that. You did a presentation just maybe a few months ago. I know it was fairly recent because I took some of the literature and passed it out too.
Yeah, we had a great.
They upped the rate too, didn't they?
Yeah.
That, the Mayor of Washington said, giving out more assistance.
Yeah, I've heard some rumors about that. It's kind of a case-by-case basis, depends on what your income is and where you want to go.
Yeah, that would
But
be
yeah.
helpful.
But yeah, we did a grand opening for that property, and then we also had Housing Opportunities come in probably 3 or 4 months ago and gave a presentation trying to help promote finding someone for that property. But if you have any other ideas, I'd be glad to hear them. Thank you.
And I think the market on short-term rentals is going to be changing here very quickly. A lot of these corporations are not making enough money on Airbnb, so they're putting them on the market for private ownership or long-term rental. The other thing that I'm seeing, we just came back from a trip trying to find an Airbnb in another state, and I noticed that in this town, especially where we were looking, on 2 or 3 of the listings, they had on-street parking only. So people are also looking at that, so when they come in, if you have somebody complaining about parking that's at an Airbnb, tell them to put it on the Airbnb review.
I do.
Yeah.
The guy that, the properties I'm talking said, that those people told me that he says there is ample street parking available. And I didn't see it in his ad, but I guess it's in his correspondence with him. He's misleading them really.
Understood.
So I say, complain.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ms. Volter. Anybody else like to address council, administration? Yeah, it's a new topic. Sure, you got 3 minutes. What's up?
Next month, and you all maybe already know about this, but next month, we, at the park board meeting, August 10th, we meet at 6 p.m. here We are going to have some of the folks who are working at NKU on the creek
Stream
restoration, the stream
mitigation.
restoration. They're going to be giving a presentation on a couple of options for the park, and they're kind of big deal. Like, they could change a lot or they could stay the same, but the more people in the room, I think, would be helpful. Just to look at the presentation, ask lots of questions. So put it on your calendars if you have time. We'd love to. The park board would love to have you join us. That's
What was
all.
that date again?
August 10th,
And what time again?
6 p.m.
August 10th, 6 p.m. right here.
right here.
Love
Yep.
it.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sparks. Anybody else? Any new topics? All right, we're gonna go ahead and close it. Do we have a reason for new business this evening?
Just updates from committees, if we were ready for those.
Well,
Yeah.
get on it.
From the sports committee side of things, for multiple reasons, we are pausing the Monday night runs that are happening. Part of it's weather, part of it's other things. But we're going to pause those until it's a little cooler weather on Monday nights for the run walks. So if you were attending those, please just hold off till the fall, until it's a little cooler. In lieu of that, we are doing some special events. So we have the next one coming up is July 22nd. Where instead of us doing that Monday night run, we're instead going to do an evening hike through Sergeant Park. That is going to be at 6 p.m. and followed by some pizza at Wayfair, if you're interested. So 6 p.m., July 22nd, Sergeant Park. We're going to go for a little hike and then head down to Wayfair. There's also going to be a Dog Days of Summer event that I'll tell you about next city council meeting. That'll be in August. And then there is some interest in kickball and softball that has been brought to my attention. So if anybody else is interested in that and would like to help spearhead that, please reach out to me. And that is all on the sports side of things. We did just also have a finance committee meeting right before this call where we talked about accountants and auditors and bonds and bank accounts and funds and all kinds of stuff like that. That's just really exciting. So if anybody else is excited about that kind of stuff, we are looking for 1 or 2 more members of that committee. So we only meet quarterly, so it's a little bit lighter lift than some of the other committees. Please reach out if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Judd. Any other new business?
Oh, I was just gonna remind everybody about Final Friday on the 31st
Yeah.
of this month, around 7 o'clock. Come listen to some music, hang out, visit with your neighbors. And then I know we do not have a farmer's market here in Dayton, but Bellevue does have a farmer's market, and that will be this Sunday and then the third Sunday in August from 10 to 2. So you can at least locally come by someplace pretty darn close and pick up some fresh fruit, fresh fruits and vegetables. And that's down at Bellevue Beach Park.
Just 2 blocks from Dayton. Anybody else new business?
Our first yoga in the park is this Saturday at Sergeant Park.
Sergeant Park's got yoga in the park.
It'll be at 9 a.m. at the pavilion. Yoga in the park.
I'll be there, Jared.
Any other new business? All right, we're closing that out. Is there a reason for executive session? No. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? We will see you guys next month. Have a lovely rest of July.
What happens if we have 3 extensions on adjournment?
We would have to kill someone, I think.
When did the Bellevue Park, which days?
It's the third,
What?
it's the third Sunday.
I'm actually out of town for the next
And it's only in July.
long time. Huh?
We never really,
No, we're good.
we never really got good turnout.
Tomorrow I'm presenting,
October was usually really shitty, so they just.
where we're at in our first half of the year. We're